ResortLoop.com is proud to be sponsored by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Joffrey's now offers coffee subscriptions. You can order a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription. You can choose from 3 collections: the Flavored Coffee Collection, the Roastmasters Collection, or the Disney Signature Coffee Collection. Each collection includes 3 bags per month. With the Joffrey's Coffee subscriptions, never run out of great coffee again. Learn more and order at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The body of water that you see to the right of our forward motion is the Seven Seas Lagoon. The Seven Seas Lagoon is a man-made creation that took 3 years and the removal of millions of cubic yards of earth to complete.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is ResortLoop.com, the gateway to the magic. Very excited for this show. Joining us once again, fresh out of the gate. First time, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, in 2021, Jeremy Hunt.
Hello, Tim. Hello, Loopers. And it's a new year. First time back.
Fantastic. Very excited. We had the Holidaython 2020.
Some good stuff in there.
So, thank you very much.
For the trudging through of all those episodes in a row.
Thank you very much. It's always fun to do. About 3/4 of the way through, you're like, ooh, this is a long one.
Tim's like, why did I do this again?
It's tradition. And it's a lot of fun. Then we had a couple trip reports. And now joining us, because Jeremy, you know what we need to continue?
We need more love.
And more hate. Love and hate continues in 2021. It's like a pandemic, but much more fun to talk about.
Oh, man.
On this show, Jeremy, we're going to talk about Disney's Yacht and Beach Club resorts, and we're just going to kind of lump them together because they're so close to each other.
They're almost the same building anyway.
They are. They share a pool, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Jeremy, let's get right into the Beach Club. We can talk about where it's at. Everyone knows, I shouldn't say everyone, you may have never been, but it's right adjacent to the Epcot Center.
It is. It's on the shores of Crescent Lake, I believe, is what that little body of water is.
It is. Directly across from the boardwalk with a good view of the Swan and Dolphin Hotel.
Yep. If you come out of the resort towards Crescent Lake, Epcot is to your left, boardwalk is right in front of you, and to your right, Swan and Dolphin, and eventually down that way, Hollywood Studios.
Yes, down the canal of Disney.
Hopes and Dreams.
Exactly.
Or something.
Or is that a boulevard of broken dreams? I don't know what song I'm thinking of. Oh, Jeremy, let's start off. What's one of your, because you go to this area a lot, you were telling me before the show.
We do. It's one of our places to go just to hang out, to go visit, to grab some good dining. And so I'll start off the pros list, the love list, with the views of Crescent Lake. It's one of the things that keeps drawing us over there. Even if you don't do anything at the resort, just the views that you can have watching the friendship boats go back and forth. Some amazing sunsets out there, by the way, that you can have. And it's just a cool place to go and watch the world go by for a little bit.
Would you believe me if I had the word views/vistas on my list also?
Great minds.
Great minds. And I was also thinking about the sunset as well, because when the sky starts to change colors and they light up the Swan and the Dolphin, the contrast in colors is beautiful.
Yep. Your mind takes like little screenshots occasionally and stores them away. And I have one in particular of an evening where we sat out there, and it was a sunset. And it's one of those things like you think, oh man, I want to repeat that. So it's just one of those things that keeps bringing me back. These are good places to catch some sunsets and some good times.
And also, the resort seems to have a relaxing quality to it.
Agreed.
Well, there's a lot of people constantly milling about, going, to Hollywood Studios or Epcot. It just seems very, like they're in a more relaxed mood than that they're, people charging to the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I don't think it's just the fact that these are deluxe resorts, because some of them don't quite have that vibe. But I guess the beach and the yacht club vibe, I even have a note here about that, is just these are places where you walk in and you feel, well, not only you feel like this is a fancy place, for lack of a better luxury, maybe, but it is a place where you feel like, hey, I'm on vacation. Like this is a place to relax and have a good time.
Absolutely. I know we've stayed at the beach club several times. We've never stayed at the yacht club, so I feel kind of odd talking about there, but I'm going to assume it's, other than being a slightly different decor, it's going to be pretty much the same kind of thing. The rooms, beautifully appointed. Location, you can't beat it.
No.
Beds are comfortable. Bathrooms are beautiful. The lobby, fantastic. I want to know, is there still, since you were there recently, is there still a greeter? Has there been a greeter at the Yacht or Beach Club?
You know what? That's a really good question, and I will say I didn't notice one. So if there is, we didn't notice. I'm going to say no.
That could be. I know he was kind of legendary. Was Art the greeter?
Mm-hmm.
At least at the beach club, would stand there and greet everybody. As they were entering and as they were leaving, say good morning. And I have several pictures of my kids with Art the greeter, and with a little bit of pin trading there. And he was a great guy. And just kind of got your vacation off on the right foot when you stepped into the resort.
I agree, and probably wouldn't be the safest place for a gentleman like that right now.
True. He was a little bit up there, and I know he has since retired. But
I will say that the lobbies are far emptier. Like in the before times, in the days before the dark times, I remember the lobbies being bustling. But now, because of all of the new rules and ways you can check in virtually, I guess the lobbies are fairly empty, which is kind of cool. You can wander around, take some pictures, see some stuff without bumping into people all the time. But it is a little strange to walk in and it's so empty. Like at one point recently, we were over there for dinner and there was literally no one in the lobby other than us.
Wow.
And it was evening, and we're like, man. Now, I know that the resorts aren't empty. There are people staying there, but they're over. I think the only, correct me, Tim, is the DVC area the only part of these that is open?
I believe so. I believe the resort portion, I want to say, is March when that actually opens back up. So that's probably another reason it seemed a little more empty.
Yeah, I agree.
So one thing I'm going to talk about on my love list here, and I don't know how long we're going to talk about this.
Do it.
The dining at these resorts.
I hoped you would.
Oh, I'm going to. Little heads up, first of all these places are not open currently, with everything that's going on right now, but we're sure they're all open back up at some point, hopefully by later this spring or summer.
So what is topping your dining list? And you can pick from either resort, but what's at the top?
The top, I'm going to pick, and I have a couple. This is kind of tough. I've only been here a couple times. The Yachtsman Steakhouse over at the Yacht Club.
See, I want to hear about this. We've wanted to visit, and I admit that the prices on the menu have hit the pause button on that a couple of times on us. But I want to hear what you have to say.
I'm going to tell you that is actually one of the best steaks I have ever had, with awesome sides, very tasty. I recommend it a whole lot. I'm trying to bring up the menu here right now as I'm speaking.
I wanted to ask you, is that the 427-ounce porterhouse or whatever they have? What did you get?
I got it was more like their standard. My go-to when I go to a nice steak restaurant is a ribeye steak.
Ditto.
You a fan of the ribeye?
Ribeye is our favorite for sure.
Now, my wife got a filet, I do believe, because that's kind of her go-to at nice restaurants.
I would not say no to a filet.
Oh, no, you would not. It was very good. I'm still pulling up the menu. Appetizer-wise, I always like to try it at better restaurants when I go there. And I may have talked about this before on the show also. The lobster bisque.
All right.
Creamy.
Well, I mean,
lobster.
I've had it, so tell me about the lobster bisque here.
1, expensive. 2, worth every penny. It was creamy, had big chunks of lobster in it. Oh, I can't even tell you where I've had lobster bisque that good before. And I've tried it at a bunch of different places.
Love it.
It is a solid appetizer. Okay,
that's not a light appetizer unless they give you a very small amount of it. So does that chase any of the steak away?
No, I'll tell you what. It's one of those meals where you want to go in a little bit hungry. Because you're spending so much for this dinner, you actually want to get what you want.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if I necessarily want to have a tossed salad for this meal for a appetizer. When I can get a tossed salad anywhere for the most part. To kind of taste kind of the same.
That's right.
But I will say the lobster bisque at the Yachtsman Steakhouse is $16. I did manage to get the menu there. Sounds like a lot. It is a lot. But when you're on vacation, and it's maybe... Because this was actually the one restaurant I was really looking forward to on that trip. Fantastic. A couple other things I'm going to mention from the menu here, Jeremy.
Please do.
I'd like your input on this. What do you think of these? Here's your favorite. You kind of mentioned the 28-ounce prime porterhouse for 2.
Or 1 if you're really ambitious.
It could be done. I'm just going to say that right now. 21-day dry-aged bone marrow with a green onion brioche, garlic butter, and a choice of 2 of their sides. Now remember, this is for 2 people. $135. That's pricey. Although, if you think about it, if you're going in...
You know what? That's actually not that bad. If you spend $50-$60 a piece at a decent steak place, that's not unreasonable at all.
I was going to say, this isn't a place you can equate with like an Outback or like a Texas Roadhouse. It's more of a, I think like a Morton's or a Ruth Chris level, I'd have to kind of say.
Right. Exactly.
Another thing, if you had another meal here for 2, the chilled Admiral's Tower for 2, Maine lobster, snow crab, tuna tartare, jumbo shrimp, mussels, jumbo lump crab salad, oyster shooters, scallop ceviche, and charred octopus salad. Also $135, by the way.
Now, some of that sounds really good. Some of it scares me a little bit. And it is expensive, but I love seafood, so I think I would give that a shot.
Absolutely.
Especially if Tim's paying.
I would say this is something, if you're like, say we were going there as a couple, you and your wife, me and my wife, I could see us like getting each of these and just sharing it amongst the table.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
That'd be fantastic. That'd be a good dinner for everybody, I think. And then a small Diet Coke.
What the shooters are. What what is that again?
I think it's just I'm not a huge I like smoked oysters. I've never had like the raw oysters so much. I think it's just oysters, probably on the half shell type thing.
Gotcha.
Unless they're already shucked in like maybe in little glasses to make it easier for you. But down to the I won't say the basic menu, but like dinners for 1. The 16-ounce ribeye, $57.
I'm totally in for that.
Yeah. Blue Heaven shallot butter was served with one of their other sides. It's $57, and then the filet was $52. Prime rib $52, and the 12-ounce New York strip $53. So
the filet is $52?
The filet, 8-ounce filet mignon, $52.
That is surprisingly reasonable.
It says here you can upgrade to a 16-ounce bone-in filet mignon. That's an additional $30.
Okay.
But if you're going to get a couple, decent appetizers or a good solid side, an 8-ounce filet mignon is nothing to worry, sneeze at.
Now they have desserts, but do you get there? That might be a thing. Like put it in a box and I'll take it with me.
And that may be something you go on a walk and then you swing by Beaches and Cream later.
Oh, that's a good call, because that definitely needs to be on our list here. That's highly loved.
I will say, looking at the desserts, I'm sure they're fantastic. But I mean, a s'more sundae, banana bread pudding, a chocolate lava cake, creme brulee might be my go-to there if I was going to get something there.
If you throw a sundae or something on top of a steak dinner like that, man. Yeah, you better go right back to your room. That's all I'm saying.
After a lobster bisque.
Yeah, you're gonna be in trouble.
Oh well. So that's my go-to restaurant there. Where have you been? Where have you eaten at Yacht and the Beach Club?
So on the Beach Club side, they have Ale and Compass, which has replaced, I think it was Captain's Grill. Is that right?
That sounds right. Yes. Yeah,
and Ale and Compass is. I want to do it justice here. So we've been a couple of times and had one of the best burgers we've had in a very long time, and it surprised me because I hadn't heard really good reviews of Ale and Compass. It could just be that they're getting better. Some of their menu is stuff that is not really for us. Let's say, but it's a solid place, and the service that we have received both times was excellent there, and really good vibe. I haven't been yet to Beaches and Cream. I know they rehabbed it all. It's much bigger now. We've walked by. We've looked at the line. Even though it's huge, it's always packed. And frankly, pandemic-wise, we haven't really felt like that's something we need to dive into yet. And before, it was always very small and you can never get in. But that's definitely something that once all this is over with, we're going to find our way in there.
I did hear a lot of good things about the redone Ale and Compass, so that's great to hear.
So here's an anecdote, and Tim, I know that you're a huge cauliflower fan.
You know I am.
Yep. That's what people tell me. So I'm really not. I call it like literally that's one of my most hated things. But on a whim, we tried the Ale & Compass appetizer that is buffalo. I don't have the menu in front of me. See, I should do that. But it's like buffalo wings, but it's cauliflower.
Oh, yeah, I actually had it here just totally by luck. Roasted.
Did
buffalo.
you really?
Yeah, I did. from my research earlier today, roasted buffalo style cauliflower with hearts of romaine and herb ranch. Does that sound right?
That's it. And I was shocked. We ate almost all of it. Like, it is really, really good. And so, yeah.
Wow.
They have some good stuff in there.
But would you get the cauliflower again?
We would, but it is enormous, and so we definitely would get it with far less other stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely a go-to.
Fantastic.
Surprised me.
Fantastic. I want to jump over to the Beach Club real quick and talk about the Cape May Cafe.
Please do. I haven't been.
We've eaten there before in the past, also a couple times, and it is a seafood buffet.
So I hear.
And it was excellent. And there's no really sense for me to go to the menu because I went there and it's not open. It's a buffet. I doubt it's going to be reopened anytime soon. But the food there was always cooked really well for being seafood on a buffet because that can be kind of a tough thing to pull off. Seafood on a buffet and have it all cooked really well. Very tasty.
Yeah, have it cooked well, plus have it remain well.
Yes. And then I thought about Cape May having a seafood restaurant, and the Yacht Club having like a steak restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me of the old Empress Lily riverboat over at, Disney Springs, downtown Disney, the Walt Disney World Village.
Mm-hmm.
Because in there, I don't know if you remember, Jeremy.
Before paddlefish? Before it was paddlefish?
Before they uglied up the boat and made it paddlefish. When it was the Empress Lily, named after Walt's wife, which is still fantastic. There were 3 restaurants in there. There was the Empress Room, which was kind of the Victorian Albert's level.
Mm-hmm.
There was the Steerman's Quarters. It was down kind of by the paddle wheel in the back, and that was the steak restaurant. And then up on the other level, in the front of the ship, where the 180-degree windows are, was the Fisherman's Deck, and that was the seafood restaurant. So it kind of had the same kind of vibe going on there, a seafood-only restaurant, and then a steak restaurant, really close to each other. I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of that, the whole restaurant set up there. So
I'm going to ask you to put on your prognostication glasses here.
Ouch.
Do you think Cape May is coming back as it was, or do you think they will reimagine that?
I think it'll have to be reimagined. Even if things were to get a lot better, I'm not sure people would necessarily be ready to go to a buffet. I would say maybe...
I can't disagree.
I would say maybe if it was set up where you didn't touch anything and everything was served to you. But if that was the case, I'd rather just sit at the table and have them bring me like a family-style seafood type dinner.
Right. That's kind of my thought, actually, is that would be an easy way to transition these things to something else. You don't have to change up a whole lot. You just bring it to the table. I
think we talked about that on a show a long time ago. How I was after you had 4 theme parks, the idea of getting up out from my table to go get more food. At that point, just bring me the food to the table. Let me sit down for just a few minutes.
Why are you making me work for it?
I'm not saying we need like a Jetsons type, bring the food on a conveyor belt to my table, but but why not? Let's work on that.
Yeah, but I don't see a downside there.
I want my food delivery to look like an Amazon fulfillment warehouse. Oh, any other food or anything you've had from?
Well, we visited the quick or I don't know. It's not even called a quick service. What do you call the thing where it's a grab and go? I guess you'd call it that they have there at Beach Club, and it's okay. They have some sandwiches to grab at a bunch of pastry type stuff.
Okay.
In a little seating area that's kind of nice, but nothing to write home about in that little area.
Yeah, that was probably one of the things that was going to be on my hate side of the list. Just that it seemed like it could have maybe a better option for like breakfast foods and snack foods, more like a counter service than a grab and go type situation.
I agree. When you compare it with resorts that aren't deluxe that have really good food courts, that's a negative for me.
Gotcha. So we'll file that under hate for Disney's Yacht.
Super hated.
Beach Club.
Super hated that.
Oh,
Not
despised. right, I think we've talked enough about food. What else is on your love list?
So the love list here continues with the Friendship boats. You have not only amazing view of Crescent Lake at these places, but the Friendship boats can get you to Epcot, Hollywood Studios, the other resorts. And so what you have there at your fingertips, as it were, because of those boats, makes these even more valuable a place to visit. And plus the fact that I just really like those boats. I like the other ones that I don't know the names of, the smaller ones that they have at the Springs, but the Friendship boats are like an attraction on their own, and you don't have to pay for it. And if you have a good skipper, they tell you jokes. And if it's a really good skipper, they're really corny jokes.
If it's a dad, he's giving you the best dad jokes he's heard.
That's right.
I did have the Friendship boats under my list. I had a little sub bullet on my list for transportation, and I did throw in the Skyliner now.
That is true. I tend to forget about that, but it is absolutely there, and it's fun.
They also have what we call the Epcot walk. You can even walk to Hollywood Studios if you're so inclined. At that point, though, I think I would just go on the Skyliner or the boat.
Yeah, I have that down. I guess since I'll just continue with the next thing on my list here, and then we'll have to hear the next one from you. But it is also easy walking distance to Epcot, and then I have down here that if you're super ambitious, you can even walk to Hollywood Studios, which we've done once. Keyword once, because that's a hike. So,
right.
But if you're one of these kinds that you go on vacation and you do a 5K every morning just because that's you, that's not a big deal. But the walk to Epcot is one of the major reasons why we'll, even as locals, come over here, grab a little food, and then you can be in World Showcase in, I don't know, 9 minutes from Beach Club. And then when you're done doing your thing over there in World Showcase, or even if you grab a meal in World Showcase, then you're back at your resort in no time.
It's such an optimally placed resort if you're Epcot fans.
It really is. It's a place to be.
I also, on my list, I had Beaches and Cream, but I think we'd be remiss if we did not mention the pool there.
You're talking about the pool that's right next to Beaches and Cream?
The pool, yes, it's right next to Beaches and Cream. It's shared by the Yacht Club and the Beach Club, Stormalong Bay.
Stormalong Bay.
Everyone calls it a mini water park. And the reason they call it that is because it is like a mini water park.
It really is. It's kind of legendary.
It is. It's got hot tubs there. It's got the sandy bottom. It's got like a big whirlpool. It's got, some waterfalls. It's got the lazy river. Really, if you're staying there at the Yacht or the Beach Club, set aside at least half a day or maybe a couple half days to enjoy the pool.
It's so impressive, it makes you wonder why it's the only thing that is so impressive.
Can I tell you, Jeremy, I've wondered that myself. I think the only thing that might be close, and I've not been there to compare personally, just because I know Alani has a lazy river. But I'm not sure why, Riviera hasn't had a pool quite like Stormalong Bay. Any of the newer resorts since then, or some older pools have not been, more renovated to that. But thank goodness it's at least in one place. Yeah,
it's an amazing pool. Every time we walk by, we think, oh man, that would be nice. And then we remember we're not staying there. And they don't let vagrants like us come into the pool. You have to be official.
And the Animal Kingdom Lodge even has, a beautiful big pool with a small slide. But there's a lot of room there. They could have done something a little more involved, I would think.
And Stormalong integrates really well with the site, where it is. It looks like it belongs there, and you have views of the whole area and the lake. And so, yeah, beautiful place.
Hurricane Hannah's is there if you need to grab a quick snack without actually going into the hotel.
Have you been?
I have been.
I haven't been to Hurricane Hannah's.
I mean, it's nothing. I don't want to say it's anything, super. It's okay for what it is. You can get some drinks there and a couple snacks. They're usually like a sandwich and some chips and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's right by the pool. Jeremy, I think this is a good time. Let's move on to what we loathe, what we despise, what we hate about Disney's Yacht and Beach Club Resort. And I'll take off the table. I can't say parking, and you can't say the cost.
Oh, man, we're going to be in trouble then.
I know. There's not a whole lot, I don't think, with this one, but we can find a couple things to talk about.
What's first on your list for the loathing section?
Well, we already talked about it. I was talking for as beautiful as the walk is to the Beach Club. The walk to the studios just seems like a trail of tears to me.
Yeah.
But you got to
that's
keep
a
in
no.
mind, I'm generally used to going there at the heart of summer. So, but now they got the Skyliner, so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, you really shouldn't be walking over there unless you're trying to burn some calories, which I'm not trying to do on vacation.
Right? You don't want to dehydrate at 8:00 in the morning, the first part of your day.
No, leave that for noon, where it happens naturally.
And I will say the other thing I had on my hate list here were breakfast options, just because of this kind of the same thing we just talked about.
Yeah.
And I was searching for this one, Jeremy, things to hate about the resort.
That's a good thing when you have to try.
I did have to try, and I was thinking, when I was there the first time, what kind of surprised me? And one of the first things that surprised me, and and it's honestly, it's not that big a deal, but I have to file it under hate. I can't file it under love. Was the size of the room. Seemed a little smaller than what I would have thought. Now, it's by no means tiny. It's not like a stateroom on a cruise ship, but it was 381 square feet. And I did look by comparison. The Contemporary is 394, if my numbers are correct. The Polynesian 415.
Wow. I thought the Poly was among the biggest, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm going to say 415. Again, it's one of those things. How much are you in the room? And if you're going to be in the room for a really long time, you might be paying for or opting for like a DVC, one bedroom or something like that, or some kind of suite.
Yeah, and if there is a resort where you're not going to be in the room a lot, it really is these, because there's no reason to be there other than sleeping and chilling for a little bit at the end of the day. There's just so much cool stuff to do and walk around.
Right. And
why would you be?
And you're paying for access to the pool. So if you're in the room, hopefully you're closing your eyes, you're resting from your swim and getting ready to go back over for a little, I wanted to say illuminations, but now I'm going to have to say harmonious later this year.
Well, you know what? High hopes for harmonious, but RIP. Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's all I could come up with. Hey, I couldn't really come up with anything that would be a deal breaker, other than the cost and the parking, which, we got to take that off the table at this point.
Yeah, we're just repeating ourselves. The horse, he's long gone.
He's
left.
Don't
need to beat him anymore. And
on
this
the bright
is
side,
a love and hate first for this series. I got nothing.
It's tough. Like,
I really actually tried, and I'm sitting here staring at my notes with the con section having nothing under it, and I was like, oh no, I can't think of anything. But really, that just means this is a great resort.
It is a great. Only other thing, maybe you might consider the bus ride to the Magic Kingdom a little bit longer. But
I haven't done it.
But the trade-off, you're right next to Epcot and Skyliner right away from Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, the proximity to Epcot and the studios, I think, kind of overwhelms any possible length of travel to other resorts, because it's so nice, so convenient.
I concur. Jeremy, do you have any final thoughts on Disney's Yacht and Beach Club, other than we want to go there and have some meals for two at the Yachtsman Steakhouse?
Yes, that needs to be a thing.
Yes.
And final thoughts are, this is just absolutely one of our favorite places to be, even if you're not staying in the room. It's definitely a place. Even if you're on vacation in town, staying somewhere else, put this on the list, because even if you go down now, the trick, and it's not even really a trick at this point, but you order something on the My Disney Experience app, make a mobile order there at one of the quick service locations, and they let you come in and you can park and you can walk around and see the resorts and have a good time. And it's worthy to put that on your list, even if you're not staying there.
That's a great tip. Or if you're in Epcot, it's around lunchtime, take a jaunt right outside the side entrance there at the International Gateway and check out the resort that way.
Totally. Yep. Good point.
Fantastic. Well, Jeremy, thank you again for joining me on the show. Always a pleasure.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always fun.
Oh, I can't wait to do the rest of these resorts. I'm really looking forward to it. Jeremy, where can people find you if they'd like to talk to you?
Well, if you'd like to talk to me, I'm Jeremy Hunt FL on Instagram, and you can find me in Looper Nation Live as well. Say something.
Please do. Let's start some conversation over there. Let's talk some food. And I, of course, I'm Tim Scott. Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com. You can also follow me on the same kind of Instagram thing, except the Resort Loop version. I don't know what I'm saying, Jeremy. It's been a long day.
Hey, it made sense to me.
Excellent. Everybody, you've been listening to The Gateway to the Magic. Stay tuned for future shows. Jeremy, take us out.
See you, everybody.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoop.com.